What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. A lot of you guys might have saw on Instagram the other day that I was asking for suggestions for somebody who does carbon repair or composite work. This is because for the longest time now, we've had a damaged carbon fiber B92 OEM hood for the C6 Corvette sitting in the shop. Nobody else wanted to take on the repair, so I figured, why not use it on the orange car? Fortunately, we got a great local suggestion. Our fabricator Josh had mentioned Industry Garage, Tim Hicks, or Street Bandito on YouTube. I checked out his page, and needless to say, he's the dude for this. And as an added bonus, he does paint work. That means we can take one of these ZR1 wings we have laying around the shop, have him paint it, and get rid of that ugly piece of junk that's on my ZR1. With that said, we're not gonna waste any time. We're gonna get these parts loaded up and take them up there this afternoon. Some of you guys might be familiar with what is called the B92 hood. It's a super rare OEM option that was available on the 427s and the Z07 carbon cars. Where you guys have probably seen a similar hood before is on the ZR1, which is much more likely that you've seen one of those in person. This is that exact hood without a window. It's a very subtle difference if you don't know what you're looking for, but this, for reference, is a stock C6 hood. Just notice there's no real bump on it. This is the B92 hood. So word on the street is this is like 11 pounds lighter than the stock C6 hood. Not that it matters, I'm not building a race car, but I definitely need to test it. Alright, what do we got?
256.
256, 16 pounds, alright. And
265 right now, but then say 266,
so roughly 10 pounds.
Roughly, yeah.
We'll call it 10 pounds. All right, we are all loaded up here. We're gonna go ahead and get this strapped down, knock out our work for the day, and then get headed up the road.
Last time having to do that.
Yeah, right.
The only time Carrington ever drove this car. Look at the sad state of affairs of this car, just in pieces because of this guy.
And that is the end of the Viper. Not too upset about it.
What I'll probably do is like make a small mold of this section, and then from the good hood, and then make a carbon part from that, and then actually overlay it onto this piece.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
And then just drill this out. Use the same perfector retainer. You lose your nice GM sticker.
Won't match the car anyway, so I guess that's all right. These hoods are like ridiculously expensive if you actually try to buy a clean one. This thing's been sitting around the shop for, I think, over a year now.
Some small stuff like this cracking here, I'll probably just reinforce.
Yeah.
I'll try and bring it as far back as I can, but that might be overall excessive. Especially once I start, because I'll cut all that away.
Yeah.
I'll be able to reinforce that from behind
Cool.
too. So there's a little bit of cracking too.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of damage up here too, not nearly as bad as that side, but I don't particularly care about the finish on the bottom of it, but whatever you can do to keep it somewhat presentable.
I'll keep it carbon.
Cool.
Even if there might be some small patches where the weave won't match up
that's
perfectly, but it'll
perfectly fine.
I might just drill a hole here just to be able to get underneath here, because I want to be able to reinforce it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's actually the crunch point on the hood.
Gotcha.
So it did its job. It started cracking.
Alrighty, we got the call we're waiting for this weekend. Tim said the parts are done. He sent me a couple pictures, and as you would expect, they look phenomenal. I am super excited to see them in person, and we're headed up there right now. So I'll see you guys there in a few minutes. We just got here, and I think we're at the right place. A bunch of cool stuff sitting outside. That looks familiar. Feels like we're right at home, huh? What's going on?
What's up, man?
Nice to see you again.
See?
So, here she is, it looks like.
Yes. It is fixed.
Oh, it looks awesome. Like a mat on the bottom. That's different. That looks sweet.
Kind of our specialty. This little satin finish.
And you
Yeah,
can,
so what we ended up doing, the red hood that you brought me had a different, I guess the carbon fiber hood has a different pattern inside it. And instead of being rounded, it was like pretty straight. and cut.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't actually replicate that. So what we did was we just took that piece that you had, we foamed a lot of the inside, and then we just wrapped it in like 3 sheets of 12K carbon. So it's really super stiff, but unfortunately you can still see, you know, where the weave ends and stuff like that. So it's not as pretty of a repair.
you saw what it looked like before, so
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks amazing.
Still carbon, and it still works.
Absolutely. And I wish I was going to get to use it right away, but unfortunately, you know what happens with that. It's going to sit for a little bit, and then the whole car will be back up here for a color change.
It'll be motivation to get it running.
Exactly. Cool. And you have a spoiler for me as well.
Yes. Where is? Oh, it's right here. Yep. In all of our mesh right now, and cleaning up our shop.
Awesome.
Blue to match the
Yep.
gaster you gave me.
Sweet. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the monstrosity that's on my new ZR1, but it is disgusting. So this is going to be a big help. I can't wait to rip it off and throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm kidding about that. I'm going to sell it. You know, I'm not throwing it in the trash. So I also need you to give me the rundown on this thing. It was at the open house. I got to take a ride in it, but I didn't have a lot of time to get the full backstory on it. So I'll let you take it away.
So it's a 1970 Datsun 240Z. The hood is right behind you.
The hood, front end, big cow.
Front clip.
Ultra cool looking front end.
Yeah, so everything in the shop's dusty right now because we've been running the CNC machine all day, but it's all carbon fiber. This whole thing weighs like less than 15 pounds. But yeah, the whole body of the car has been converted to carbon fiber. There's no more sheet metal except for like the little bit of structural stuff in here.
Gotcha.
And then a run along the A-pillar and the roof and stuff like that. So quarter panels, roof.
And it looks just as good dirty as it did clean at the open house, so I guess that's saying something.
This is its usual state.
That's how my cars are too. And mine don't have an excuse of being in a body shop, so.
Yeah, Xavier always keeps telling me that I only wash my car once a year, but
That's one time more than I do, so.
yeah, so it's got the motor's out of a 2008 Honda F2000. So it's an F22C, Borg-Warner turbo, running a Link ECU, 1700cc injectors. With E85, it should be like mid to high fives.
Sweet.
Once we're done, hopefully.
And when I went for a ride, it was on pump gas, correct?
Yeah, pump gas, and that was on wastegate spring. It was around like 320 horsepower.
And even then, it was ridiculously fast, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like on E85.
Yeah. We got a good bit of stuff to do, like our diff needs to be swapped out again, but luckily, so we have a Techno-Toy tuning rear end, so the whole rear subframe is a whole billet section, and it swaps out your rear end for a 48.8 rear end out of
Okay.
2010 to 2011 Ford Explorer.
Okay.
So it's aluminum diff, so it's pretty light, but it's like a 3.
Yeah, they're beefy. That's what they use in the RX-7 swaps. I think Austin's at the shop doing that. They're literally doing that right now.
And
So.
you can get them for like $200.
Yep.
So.
Yep. He yanked a few out of the junkyard. As you heard me say earlier, I was lucky enough to take a ride in this at our open house, so check it out. I don't know what you can hear, but if you'd have told me that the R8 was not going to be the most extreme car I've been this week, I would have called you a liar. What's this car weigh?
1788 right now.
Jesus Christ. vinyl. Yeah, no, gotcha. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that as much as I enjoyed being in that car. It definitely reignited the itch for a race car. I gotta fight that because I can't afford it right now, as you guys know. We are all loaded up. There's our pretty primered hood. We're gonna get back to the shop, toss it in there. We'll worry about it tomorrow. It's getting late and I have quite the hike ahead of me. Good morning, guys. We are headed into the shop. Later this afternoon, we're gonna throw on our new hood and spoiler. But first, as you guys heard me say in the first video, we're going 2650 on the ZR1. For once in my life, I'm not going to waste any time with the build. This morning, we're headed up to Race Proven Motorsports in Delaware to pick up a part that can be an absolute timeline killer on a build. I know, on multiple occasions, I've personally had cars sitting on the lift waiting for this part, so I'm glad we're knocking this off right off the bat so we don't run into any issues when it's teardown time. I haven't been up here since they tuned my Inferno Orange ZR1, so I'm also pretty excited to see what they have going on in the shop. I'll see you guys there. Alright, so I'm sure you guys caught the clip in there, but if you didn't, we picked up a set of Frankenstein heads for the LS9 build. These are pretty much the bee's knees when it comes to 4-bolt heads. If we do a built engine later, we'll have to do something else, but these are ported, worked stock castings, fully assembled, and fortunately we will not have to be waiting on these, whereas if we sent our heads out once we get them off the engine, we're looking at a month or more sometimes. So this will help keep the build on track. We won't have to be sitting around waiting for parts, hopefully, but we're gonna keep it going. I'll show you what else we got when we get back to the shop. Alrighty guys, we are back to the shop. Before we put on that hood and spoiler, I'm gonna give you guys a quick parts update on both cars. As for the C6 Z06, we've started getting a couple body panels together. We had a nice cyber gray Grand Sport come in that we took the entire front end off of, as far as the bumper, the foam, the brackets, the fender liners. We got a nice minty fresh climate control for the ZR1 because that one is peeling badly. As you guys just saw, here are our fancy new Frankenstein heads. They are absolute works of art. And here we have a modified Edelbrock heat exchanger for the ZR1. Synergy takes this and adds a 1-inch fitting on one side and dual 3/4 on the other. And probably the fanciest part we've got so far is this cawing lid. While we don't have our 2650 yet, I got a smoking deal on this, so I had to just pick it up. I think that's about all for now as far as parts go. We have a ton more ordered, so they'll be coming in. I think pretty much every video now is going to have a parts update in it until the time we take the car apart. Strictly for test fit purposes, I put my old cup wheels from my Z06 on the back and left the gloss black ZR1 wheels this car came with on the front. I'm really digging the cup wheels. I think especially after the car gets a little wider, a little lower, they will really shine. Let me know what you guys think. I am going to save the ZR1 wheels, let them sit around for a little bit in case I change my mind, but for now, we're definitely going with the cup wheels. We're going to pull all these wheels off, take them to the tire shop up the street, and have them replace these 6-year-old Pilot Sports with these nice new Continentals that came on the car. All right, we are off and ready to go. Had to do it in the parking lot, like the old days, because the shop is packed to the top. Funny enough, these wheels barely fit in here because of how huge they are. And if you guys have been following along with the C6 Z build, you guys know we had a mishap with one of the wheels. Fortunately, Detroit Wheel had a new one in stock, got it to us in like 2 days, and it showed up in fantastic shape. So we did have to spend a little bit of money on a replacement, but it's still gonna put together a nice set of wheels for the ZR1. You guys have heard me complain long enough. It's time to get this stupid spoiler off of here. And there we have it. It is off, and it's kind of what I was worried about. These, I believe, are the factory holes. Instead of just using factory holes, like you would think an aftermarket spoiler would, they said, no, let's put them in a different position. That way you have to drill extra holes for absolutely no reason. I guess we'll stick some vinyl wrap over them and hope for the best. But I guess this kind of makes sense if you have a Z06 that doesn't have the factory spoiler, but still, come on. Those are the same on a Z06 or a ZR1 or a base, so they could at least make those ones line up. So it just seems like kind of a dumb idea. But I guess there's your manufacturer. I'm half tempted to break this thing and throw it in the trash, but I won't. I know somebody will yell at me and say, hey, I wanted that, so we'll keep it.
Hey, how many holes did they have to put? I like the adjustment hole here.
It's like, come on, man.
So does that spoiler cover them all?
It will cover them, yeah.
Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it looks like it's been painted too. Some dirt in it.
Here we go. Our resident paint expert whose car has, you know, patches of missing paint.
Don't make this about the FD, alright? This video's about your car.
Alright, we're halfway there. Just got to bolt it down. I wanted to take a second, though, to show you guys what happens when you buy cheap junk. But I was afraid of this. Unfortunately, there's simply nothing we can do except try to clean it up a good bit. The part of that other spoiler that was hanging over the bumper was, of course, rubbing the shit out of it and scuffed up the paint pretty nice. Again, this isn't a mint car. It still looks much better with this spoiler on here. But it's just a little frustrating that, you know, they sell products like that will screw up your paint. So if you have to have a spoiler like that, make sure you love it. Make sure it's on the car for life because you're going to be regretting it when you take it off.
I mean, given the car's like current circumstances, like, you know, it dropping being the car that we've dropped, the only car we've ever dropped,
It would be okay.
wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Poor, poor Corvette, if only it had a better owner.
I mean, it's hard to argue that one. Then again, you know, it could be a Cars and Coffee special.
You're really making steps backwards, man. This thing's gonna have a primered hood on it now. Man, this thing is just, it's sad.
A primered carbon fiber hood.
That's just sad.
So let me open my door.
Is the hood the same way? Is it just gonna come like falling down? You weighed them? Okay, what's the difference?
10 pounds lighter.
10 pounds lighter? How heavy is it though?
I mean, it's a little bit more like an S2000.
Dude, are you kidding me? This is super light.
Of course,
An
yeah.
S2000 hood is not that light.
Yes, it is.
No, it is
Yes,
not.
it is.
How much does this one weigh?
I don't know because I was on the scale.
Well, we
with
just
it.
made like a.
I think roughly 15 pounds, and this one's roughly
Yeah.
20.
I mean, it's light, but.
You're all, oh, it's heavy. Did you take out the other bolt? Okay, you got it. Good. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even this one's like kind of.
I mean, it's fiberglass, so. I mean, 10 pounds though. It's 10 pounds.
10 pounds on a hood for a Corvette. It's not like we're dealing with Hellcats here.
Well, the funniest part is you just said that's already back heavy, and now you're taking 10 more pounds out of the front end of the car.
I mean, you're right.
Are they? I mean, to me, it looked appropriate though. I didn't even.
It's slightly more matte, slightly, but
Okay.
it's enough to tell, and I think it looks cool.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't. I thought it looked good. I didn't even like second guess
the
it.
pair looks
Did this one have damage over here?
I think it had a very, very slight bit of damage.
Okay.
But
But yeah, like I said, I think it's gonna be cool when you get it on the car because I don't think it's gonna be noticeable.
no, it should not be. Beautiful primer hood, though.
Primered carbon hood. You can't forget that part. Look at that sick angle, Carrington. Sick angle.
All right, your turn, Fernando.
Oh, you lined up with the wrong hole, Fernando.
Is it? Come on!
I guess lining it up would be really.
Massive adjustment range on these.
Well, it will be easy without a bumper on it because
What's up?
so it should be. Yeah, there you go.
Hit that side down. Is it the last?
Yeah, lock.
Maybe because of the angle. Yeah. I'll play with the latch later. That's not as big of a worry for me. I might have to adjust the latch since it's two different hoods.
That's just interesting that this one looks pretty well. Although it looks like the back needs to come this way too.
No, it's a pretty big gap here too.
Okay.
I mean, not to mention the fenders are all messed up.
Oh, they're not even fitted, are they? They're just like hanging.
Yes.
Okay.
And this latch probably either that or the fender needs to come up a little bit, but I don't think there was really any damage back here. So there's adjustability on these hood latches as well.
Looks pretty cool.
It'd look better if the car wasn't wrecked.
It is like seeing it in primer. I think makes the hood bulge look that much more
It does. It's very
pronounced.
noticeable.
Where I don't think that they're that. I think they're relatively subtle when they are painted.
I like that. And I guess the fenders.
Yeah, so
Everything needs to be messed with and adjusted. But
yeah, if you get it tightened up so it's not going to fall off, and then.
I wonder why I drug it so far that way though. There's so much adjust. I shouldn't even be worrying about this.
Yeah, I was gonna say once you got to get the fenders on. Yeah, it is pulling it just that far to that way. Well, tighten up on this side and see if it like pulls it back over. Yeah, see that's not good that way. So. But yeah, you're definitely right though. It's definitely way tighter on that side than it is on the passenger side there.
Everything is loosely on here. The tubs are broken, so I think there's a lot of room for adjustment on here, I believe. All right, back to the hiding spot for a couple months.
But
That long. We have some suspension work to do here. We are all finished up with the spoiler. I love the way it looks. I think it looks great. The paint matches pretty well. Has a little bit more yellow in it than the original paint does. It's more noticeable inside, but we'll see how it looks when it's actually really sunny out. You guys have already heard me complain about the rub marks. They're pretty noticeable, but unless you know what you're looking for, you probably can't pick them up. It's going to bug me to death, but I just have to keep telling myself the car's not perfect and just leave it alone. And with that said, I think this is a wrap for this episode. Let me know what you guys think about the car. I'm digging it. I can't wait to get into it and start doing some power mods to it and tear the drivetrain out of it. But we still have a little bit for that. We're going to be taking care of some interior stuff. We're going to be handling some suspension work while we accumulate parts. And that way when it's time to throw power at it, there's not any lingering issues. We have it all sorted before we start putting power through it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe if you're not already. Give it a share, that'd be awesome. And I will see you next time.